We'll
Yeah,
take a lot.
yeah. We
Make
can
right.
roll
Make
them
stuff
down
up.
and do all kinds of things with them. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Holly.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Abby.
Hi, Abby.
I'm here just to learn more information on everything.
Okay.
See what's out there. for help.
What's your goal when you finish the program?
My goal when I finish the program is to get into a job first and then figure out if I want to go in the job before I continue on.
Very good. All right, we have some people online. All right, can they introduce themselves? Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So we have Seneca, Brian, and Kelsey. Laura is asking for you to introduce yourself and explain maybe what you're interested in hearing or learning today, or what you know about benefits and actions or aid in the state of Colorado.
And let's start with, they're moving. Let's start with Brian.
Oh, hey, thanks for hosting this.
Is that right?
I have not heard of benefits in action before,
Just
so
a
I'm looking to
second.
learn more. I use
Hey, Brian, we see your
various.
microphone moving, but we don't see.
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, okay, hang on.
Leah?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Is the mic working now?
Okay, Brian, try it again for us, will you?
Is it working?
There you go, perfect, yep.
Yes.
Okay. So I have not heard of benefits in action before. So I'm interested in learning more. I use various benefits in the state as I'm trying to get another degree. I'm not working very much. So anything you can tell me that'll help me out to pay for school would be great.
Okay, and what would you like the program to bring to you? What would you like to do when you finish with the program?
Finish the career forward program or?
Yep.
Well, actually, I guess I had a question on that. How long do the benefits run for that?
So Career Forward helps you through completion at ACC. If you decide to take on additional certificates, as long as they're completed by spring 2023, you can receive your scholarship, your Career Forward scholarship.
Okay, so I think that maybe is extended from the last time I heard it. I didn't know it ran through 23.
Yeah, so when Alyssa transitioned out, they gave me another year, and so that's why we pushed out from 2022 to 2023.
Oh, great. That's awesome. This has been the most helpful program for me so far in school.
Good to hear, Brian. Good to hear.
Yay. All right, Kelsey, how about you?
Hi. I just moved to Colorado, so I'm just looking to learn more about what benefits are here. And yeah, I don't know. The Career Forward program is also definitely most helpful for me as well. I'm getting a certificate right now
And what's your certificate in?
in paralegal, a paralegal
Okay.
certificate.
And where'd you move from?
New York City.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. I moved here from White Plains, took a route, but I went to high school in White Plains, so. All right, Seneca, did I do that well?
Yeah, it's Seneca. Yeah.
All right, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Seneca. I am somewhat familiar with benefits in action. I have been on I've been on the SNAP program and Medicaid for
Okay.
a while, or not currently, but I have been in the past. And I am familiar with, I have worked with a case manager through Douglas County before, and I'm familiar with the workforce and everything. I'm currently seeking my computer information systems, computer support program, and I plan to graduate next. Oh, I don't plan, I will be graduating next spring. And I'm really enjoying this Career Forward program because it's helped me a lot. It has helped me out a lot with since COVID has started. So I'm just here to learn more benefits and see if they could possibly apply to me.
Okay, perfect. Ms. Jamie, everybody knows you, but we'll let you introduce yourself. So,
Of course. Thank you, Laura. So I'm Jamie Treadwell. I'm the Career Forward Workforce Navigator. I'm the one who's issuing scholarships, making sure you guys are successful financially at least, and then supporting you along those academic supports, the career development, and then connecting us with good partnerships in the community. One being this Benefits in Action. I've worked with Simone before in the past and our undergraduate, and so it was just nice to be able to bring in this additional connection. I'm a graduate of Metro, so I did my studies in human services and counseling with an emphasis in mental health, as well as a certificate in high-risk youth. And so I'm really, I'm excited to hear what benefits are out there in the state of Colorado regarding this sort of community and what kind of work we can do even more, like the volunteering and the donation pieces.
okay, perfect. Simone, you want to do a little introduction?
Yes, hello, I'm Simone. I work for Benefits in Action. I've been here about 2 years now, a little over. As Jamie said, we went to college together, so it was nice to make this connection and be here. It's a little bit more about what we do.
Yeah. And all the navigators work for Simone.
Yes.
All the people that actually do the work, so I just get to play. So my name's Laura Boggs. I do work for Benefits in Action. We're going to spend the next 5 or 6 hours telling you a little bit about us. But I really do want this to be interactive. So if you can keep your eye on the chat, there's one thing in the chat right now. I don't know what that is. But if you, okay, good. Yeah, we want to make sure it works. Appreciate that. So if we can keep our eye on the chat, guys, if you have any questions for us, please let us know. First thing is, right, we got to eat, right? The most important thing is we have to eat. So sorry, guys, I don't know how to do this from a virtual perspective. We got lots of food here, though, so we're missing you. We're missing you, we're missing you. Woo-hoo. And there's more here. And if you want more, I'll like throw them at you when we're answering questions. So we're Benefits in Action. I'm going to tell you a little bit about us. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we serve. I'm going to tell you about our programs and projects. Jamie asked us to throw in a little bit about why we like our jobs and our next steps. So we are going to do a little exercise for you guys at home. Make sure you've got some paper and pencil next to you, because we're going to do a little exercise as we wrap up. So Benefits in Action, we're a nonprofit. What that means, for the most part, we don't charge people for our services, right? Our funding primarily comes from, there you go. Our funding primarily comes from foundations, individual donors. We do have a couple of state and federal contracts, but primarily we're funded by the generosity of people who are supporting our work. So that's important to me. We're not a profit generating organization. We're not trying to get rich off of anybody, any of those kinds of stuff. We don't sell anything. We also deal with an awful lot of personal health information when we're talking to clients about their health insurance. So I always like to start our conversations with HIPAA is very important to our organization. We have HIPAA compliance officer. We get training on it every couple of weeks. We're all certified in HIPAA. So you're safe with us. Your data is safe with us. And that's really important to me, is to make sure that people understand when you're talking to an organization about your health insurance or somebody else's, you want to make sure that the organizations that you're dealing with are taking that information pretty personally, because it deserves that. Okay, so what do? We have this little puzzle piece. The colors go with kind of the things, so you'll see that throughout. We provide education. Look, we're here in a college. That must mean we're educating. So Yahoo. We provide education, application assistance, navigation assistance for public benefits that help people live healthier, more independent lives, right? So there's an old saying, you can feed a guy a fish and you fed him for a day. You can teach a guy to fish. So very excited you guys are part of this program, because that's what you're in the process of doing, is learning how to be good fishermen and women. And that's what we do. We want to make sure that you guys learn what you need to learn when we're counseling folks, not necessarily you guys, but when we're counseling folks and working with our clients, we're trying to build them to a place where they can take it on their own and go. We also have a line of business, this benefit literacy, understanding, utilization. We also have a line of business where we work with employers. So once you go out in the workforce and you're running your daycare center or your little kids and they're out hiking around, you're going to have 50,000 employees. Call us and we'll help your 50,000 employees get connected to their benefits. Sometimes people don't like to tell their employer exactly what's going on. They'll tell a different organization, but not their employer, right? So I want to make sure you know that. All right. So what does education mean? I tell people all the time that, to me, this world of health insurance benefits broadly, so health benefits, is a little like sometime in the 70s, we all became responsible for our own retirement plans. So, right, how many of you had parents or grandparents that worked for United or Eastern or Ford or Chrysler, or any of those guys? They had pension plans, right? So they went to work age 5, maybe on an assembly line, some of that kind of stuff. And they did that for 25, 30 years, something like that. They retired. The company had invested with them in a pension plan, and they didn't worry about retirement. That's not true anymore. If somebody hasn't told you that, Jamie can help you with that, because that's not true anymore. You are going to be responsible for your own retirement. So somewhere in the 70s, we had to learn about IRAs and Roth IRAs, and how much do you put aside for your retirement, and how much is Social Security going to do, or if you are a teacher, what's para going to look like for you? So we became responsible for that for ourselves. Similarly, in this world of health insurance, organizations used to provide that and still do. In Colorado, 1 in 4 of us, roughly, has our health insurance from our employers. But even at that, when you switch employers, you have to switch health insurance. So you take on a lot of the responsibility for this. And as health insurance gets more expensive, who knows, health insurance has gotten expensive. For some of our clients on Medicare, they turn 65, they retired. It can be 30% of their income. We're not talking about an insignificant number anymore. It used to be a tiny percent of what you could plan on in retirement. That's not true anymore. So understanding all the words that go around that is part of our education piece. What's a copay? What's a deductible? What's a monthly premium? What's a coinsurance? There's this whole vocabulary in this world of health insurance that if you just look at what I'm paying every month, if something happens, you're going to end up in a world of hurt. So we do community presentations like this on all of the different benefits that we provide. So we can do a general overview and we can dive in deeply on any one of them. Today, we're going to do a general overview. So that's education. Thanks, Mom. I put navigation and application assistance together. Jamie probably knows this because she got her degree in human services. In the state of Colorado, we're a little bit of a different state if you don't know. It's a great place to live. It's beautiful. It's lovely. And we have this thing called local control. We're not so excited about other people telling us what to do in the state of Colorado. We're a pretty independent bunch, right? Many of us had our grandparents or parents come across, covered wagons, hit the Rockies, at least mine, and went, nope, not going any further. Some of them went over, but they take long journeys. They got here. We're a pretty independent bunch in Colorado. So we have 64 counties in Colorado, and we have something called local control. And that means the counties run their own human services departments. Now, there's a lot of state laws that they have to abide by, a lot of state regulations they have to abide by, but each county has a team of people who are working with the clients in the county to make determinations about their Medicaid benefits, their SNAP benefits, all of the public benefits that the counties manage. So what we don't want to do is just be paper pushers, right? That's not a very good, not very fun thing to do. Although my husband's an accountant, he thinks it's great. But when we're working with people, we really want to make sure that they connect to their benefits and they're able to use and understand what they have. So we do both application assistance and navigation assistance to make sure that once an application has been turned in, or you've shopped for Connect for Health, or you've chosen your Medicare plan, or you've gotten your SNAP benefits, that you're really able to use those and you know all of the cool things that go with it. So, for example, in Colorado, who likes Palisade peaches? That time of year, they're all over my house. I love them. Or Rocky Mountain Ford melons. Colorado's got some great produce here. So in Colorado, connected to our SNAP benefits, which used to be food stamps, now supplemental nutrition assistance. If you have a SNAP card, an EBT card, and you go to a participating farmer's market, there's a program called Double Up Bucks, which will allow you to get free Colorado grown fruits and vegetables for the dollars you've already spent at the grocery store. We can dive more into that. But some people say, no, I don't want to do the SNAP benefits. There's not that much money. And I'm like, okay, but there's like dozens of other things that you can do with this cool card. You can go to the Museum of Science and Nature, the Children's Museum. You can take your little kids up to 10. Some of them, they have to be related. And some of those places get you free entrance, and some of them it's like $1 for up to 10 people. So you have to know what the rules are. But there's some additional things that help make sure that people are connected to the benefits, because who knows, it's really important to eat healthy. So ignore this. This is just like a little snack or treat. It's not what you should do every day. Really important to eat healthy. So we help folks by pulling out the applications. We go through it, right? We're filling the applications out with them, helping them collect all the documents, or helping them shop on Connect for Health, helping them go through the Medicare world and figure out what drug plans are most appropriate. Should you go down a Medicare path? Which do you want an Advantage plan, which is local for the most part? You're not going to do a lot of traveling, or do you want a supplemental plan, which gives you the ability to travel? There's all of these things because we do understand that this is a new world for most people, right? Again, what's a premium? What's a copay? What's a deductible? What do all those words mean? And how do you make sure you've made the best decision for yourself? Here's the truth. In Colorado, I said 1 in 4 of us gets our insurance from our employer. About 1 in 4 of us gets our insurance from Medicare. These are about numbers, because you're going to see my math doesn't add up to 100% in a second. About 1 in 4 of us gets our health insurance from Connect for Health, the marketplace. And it used to be about 1 in 4 of us use Medicaid as our health insurance. That's popped up during the COVID period to about 1 in 3 of us. So if there were, let's see, 1 more person in this room, 2 of us would be on Medicaid. And that part of that has to do with they haven't kicked anybody off. That's not true. They're not kicking most people off of Medicaid these days, unless you truly don't aren't eligible anymore because of COVID, right? They don't want anybody to be uninsured. Colorado has a really low uninsured rate anyway. We've done a really good job of expanding Medicaid. Our Connect for Health system is a robust system. So there aren't very many of us in Colorado that are uninsured compared to other states. So we've done a pretty good job there. But that's kind of the landscape of what health insurance looks like in Colorado. And we really want to make sure that you're connected. So I want to talk about a couple of the other programs that we run. So we're about a 5-year-old organization. I said nonprofit. Most of the things that we do, we don't charge for. So we've been in business maybe 3.5 years when COVID hit, right? March of 2020, who will forget that nice little call from your boss that either said your business is closing or your doors are closing and you have to go home, but you still have to work. And I even remember you're going to be an essential employee. You have to have a piece of paper. So if you're out and you get stopped, you can prove to the police that you're an essential employee. That was March of 2020, early April of 2020.
Yeah, my partner had one of those. He had to carry around in the car.
Yep, same. And I remember thinking, okay, this is going to be over in a month. Joke's on me. And so our clients started to experience a much different world than they had been in February of 2020. So for example, one of the places that we work, we started to get a phone. We do a lot of work in the community. So we'll go to a low-income housing apartment complex or something, and our navigators typically would be there, and we would help folks go through their application process or their recertification process. We started to get some phone calls from some of our seniors that said, hey, I used to go to the rec center 2 or 3 times a week to get lunch. I can't go there anymore. We used to have our church come bring in sack lunches on Sunday. They're not doing that anymore. And so they said 2 things out of those conversations. One, they said, I'm hungry, I need some food, which we didn't do food at all, right? We're doing paper, we're connecting people. Food was not a thing for us. And the second thing they said is, I am missing our community connections. So smart people like Simone said, okay, let's figure out how we can address these issues. And we fired up 2 programs in a pretty short period of time. One is a food delivery program. So in Adams, Arapahoe, Denver, and Jefferson County, inside C470, we don't typically do Evergreen and Conifer. There's some good resources up there. But we will actually deliver a box of shelf-stable food and a box of produce to a family in need. Now we're going to try and qualify that. We already have like 3,800 families across those 4 counties on our list. So what we're trying to do is make sure that that family's not able to get out, or if they can get out, doesn't have the money. They can't connect to a local pantry, right? So we'll help folks connect to a local pantry, show them what the hours are, figure out what that can look like if that works for a family or an individual. But we have a lot of clients who simply can't get out. I mean, they can't physically, don't have the money to put gas in the car this week, can't work the walker down the steps, whatever the reasons are. We have a lot of families. So we started a food delivery program. And as I said, we've got about 3,800 folks on our food delivery list. Remind me when I get to the end But we do have some grants from workforce development. So if you've lost your job due to COVID, we're able to hire some folks. So I want to put that on the table as we get to the volunteer and what you guys can do next. But we have this great food delivery program. It's been going since April, May of 2020 now, and we're delivering food in those counties. So drivers, packers, because we get big cases of cereal and we take the cereal out and put it in the individual boxes, kind of assembly line fashion. So that's cool. We also started a connectedness program, right? I said people were lonely in that process. So again, smart people like Simone, Jamie, go to school, get their certificates, not psychologists, just a friendly Miss Jamie's going to call Miss Holly and check in and say, how you doing? How the grandkids? How's your plan going? Kind of like what she does now in the workforce role, but just in a general life role. So we actually have volunteers all across the country that can do that for us. They get connected to Mrs. Martinez. They call Mrs. Martinez every couple of weeks, maybe spend 20 or 40 minutes on the phone with Mrs. Martinez, whatever that looks like, just to keep people connected and put that little smile on their face because they were and are still missing that connection. So those are two of the cool things that cycled up. And it's one of the things I love best. We'll talk about this a little bit more later, but one of the things I like best about this organization, if there's a need in the community, we're going to do our best to try and wrap around and figure out if we can fix it. So remember back to January of 2021, COVID vaccines come out, age ranked on who gets them, right? People in long-term care facilities and nursing homes go first. Medical providers, and then our seniors, like, I forget what it was, 70 above or something, right?
Right, yeah.
So you're 70 above, you get your shot first. And the way you get it is you log onto a computer, right? You're 70 years old and you're going to log onto a computer and you're going to get emails from Kaiser and St. Luke's and all of these places. And you're going to get 20 or 50 emails when you can't really even log onto a computer. So love our public health friends, but they missed the boat on this one, in my opinion. So we started a program where we helped folks navigate COVID vaccines. We would work with Mr. Smith and he would call and he would say, I need a COVID vaccine, and we would help him get connected to a clinic. And we would help him remember if it was Moderna or Pfizer, because if you got one, you didn't want the other one as your second one. And you didn't want to take the call from Kaiser that says, hey, you haven't had any shots yet. And you had just gotten your Pfizer shot a week before. So all of that was very confusing in the beginning. And we cycled up a program to help folks navigate that. So love the things that we do and love how we connect people to what they actually need.
Yes.
Yay. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these programs. So Medicare in general, federal program, has a few state differences, but Medicare, when you turn 65, all of us going to turn 65. You can raise your hand on Zoom if you plan on turning 65 someday. All of us are going to turn 65. You're going to get there, Miss Holly. Sorry, did that wrong. Holly, what was your first name?
Abby.
Abby, thank you. You're going to turn 65 one day, I promise. If you're not working and getting your health insurance through your employer, you turn 65, you're eligible for Medicare, and you want to do it as quickly as you can. Because if you wait, there are penalties that you pay the rest of your life, so that's not a good thing. So you turn 65, or you're on Social Security disability in your 25th month, you go on Medicare. We're paying for that. When you go to work, you're paying for that right now for a good percentage of it. You'll notice on your, if anybody ever looks, because I don't know that I ever look, but you get the pay slip, right? Or the money goes right to your bank. Get the pay slip, it says they took out, you make $1,000 a week, you're not really making $1,000. Sorry, a month, because you're only putting $500 in the bank, right? So they took some out for Social Security, they took some out for taxes, all these fun things. One of the things they'll say on there is Medicare. No, I never asked, why am I paying for Medicare? I don't even know what Medicare is. Why am I paying? Well, they take it out. So Part A of Medicare, which pays for hospitalization coverage, we all pay as we're working in Social Security jobs. We're putting the money in so that when we turn 65, we don't have to pay the Part A piece, but that's just hospitals. So Laura's like a little bit crazy. She likes running across Santa Fe just because it gives her giggles and kicks. And so Laura runs across Santa Fe, smack, hit by a truck, needs a purple hair transplant. I don't like it when people get sick, so I use purple hair transplant because that doesn't seem like a really all that bad thing. But if I run across Santa Fe and have to get a purple hair transplant, it's going to cost me $10,000. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? So there's doctor's visits, there's medications, there's hospitalization, right? We just talked about Part A. covers hospitalization, but doctor's visits and medications are two other parts of Medicare, Part B and Part D, that we're not paying for now. So when you turn 65, you will have a premium, which is what you pay monthly for those. And then depending on the insurance package that you pick, you may have some co-pays, which is you pay every time you go in, right? Some of us do that already. We go to the doctor and $10 for this visit. The insurance company is paying the other 80 or 90, but we're paying 10. That's your copay. Or deductible, that's how much you pay in the beginning. So I'm going to take a little quick breather. We're going to talk about what health insurance actually is. Because for me, I didn't really understand what health insurance is. First, it's a contract. It's a legal agreement between you and another company, right? So it's a little bit like buying a house or buying a car or buying a washing machine. You sign a contract and say, I'm going to buy this, whether you pay cash or put it on a revolving credit, you're buying health insurance. So you have a contract with the other organization. So the way I like to describe it is we all love each other. We all want to take good care of each other. So we agree that we're going to put $100 a month into a pool of money. That's your monthly premium. So that if any one of us gets sick, we don't have to come out of pocket with that $10,000. Because I don't know about you guys, but that would be pretty hard for me to do, right? So we're all in this loving group. We're putting our money in this health insurance pool, $100 a month. We can figure out how to afford to do that, or $50 a month or $10 a month to get to figure out what that is. And we're all running along and that's working and there's a pile of money over there, right? And then this crazy Laura joins and you guys decide you love her. I don't know why you did that, but you let me join this amazing group. And I have this tendency, as I said, to run across Santa Fe, hit by a truck, purple hair transplant. So the first time you guys are, okay, we'll figure it out. We'll pay the $10,000, right? And we'll take care of it. And then you're like, but don't do it again. That's our money. Don't do it again, right? Laura doesn't listen. She has this wild hair. She likes running across Santa Fe. She got her $10,000 purple hair transplant, lovely purple hair, and runs across Santa Fe again. Smack, gets hit by a truck, because of course that's what happens when you run across Santa Fe and you don't watch the lights. And you guys are like, okay, not happening again. So you make Laura pay a deductible, right? Laura has to pay the first $4,000. We're not covering this whole thing anymore because it's getting too expensive. So Laura pays a deductible and then you'll pay the rest, right? So that kind of helped me put my head around what's this world of health insurance, right? If Laura does it again, there might be some co-insurances, which was not only are you going to pay the first $4,000, but for every $1,000 after that, you're going to pay $300 of it. And at some point in time, you're going to say, we're not covering that anymore, right? Laura runs across the street, gets hit by a truck, because who knows, the world of health is getting amazingly better. Technologies are amazingly better, right? We have this COVID vaccine that didn't exist 2 years ago, but we also have things like Keytruda. I have a girlfriend, love to death, got diagnosed with lung cancer. Very sad because I love her. Lung cancer is not a good diagnosis. She goes through chemo, goes through radiation, doesn't work. They say, try this thing called Keytruda. It's a biologic. It works specifically on people's DNAs or something. I don't know, way over my head. I need to come take some classes because I do not understand what it does. But I do understand that it's like $30,000 a treatment. Now, she was in our group. We loved her. If she was my friend or my mother, I want to pay the $30,000. Don't know her, that's a different story. But those kinds of health technologies are coming along where health is getting more and more. Your healthcare, your options are way better, but it's also getting way more expensive and way more individualized. So if we're managing our pool of money, we got to make sure that there's enough money there for the normal cold, flu. I scraped myself in addition to the world of Keytruda. So you have to watch those contracts that you're signing and understand what your risk tolerance is, what happens in your family, what you're prone to getting or not getting, and make good decisions on what your co-pays, deductibles, co-insurances are to make sure that you can cover all that stuff. It really is an agreement between you and a lot of other people you don't know in this case with health insurance in the real world, but it works similarly to the conversation we just had. So that's Medicare. Medicaid, also kind of a federal program, but managed by states, and states set the regulations way more than the federals do in the Medicaid world. Colorado has some of the most generous Medicaid benefits in the United States. The program started, I think it was the 50s under Johnson maybe, It started to make sure that pregnant women, single moms, got the health insurance that they need, right? Think back to the 50s, 60s. Most of us women have babies, were married, husbands were working, health insurance came from the husband's company. If you were a single mom or got divorced or whatever that looked like, however you became that, and didn't have access to that health insurance, you were going to be in real trouble, because you weren't going to be able to afford to have this baby. So Medicaid comes along. That was the first group of folks that it covered. Different states have made other decisions about who else they cover and what other things they do. In the state of Colorado, there are about 47 different kinds of Medicaid, last I heard. And that's everything from you're applying for disability, they're going to give you a couple $100s a month. These are our tax dollars again. So, you know, money that we as Coloradans have decided, and some federal. This is how we want to make sure that our fellow Coloradoans are healthy and well taken care of. So I've been in this job, I don't know, 3-4 months, and it was about this time of year, and a bunch of single guys came in and they were doing Medicaid applications. And they'd come from Texas, or they'd come from Florida, and they were landscapers, or they were architects, or, you know, whatever they were in the state they'd come from. They weren't working in Colorado. So Medicaid qualifications are based on your monthly income. So if you're unemployed and you're not making any money this month, you could have made $1 bazillion at the beginning of the year, but if you're not making any money this month, you're likely going to qualify for Medicaid. So they come here, they're not working, they're not anticipating making any money, got much money in the bank because they worked really hard in Florida. We don't count those in Colorado. Sign them up for Medicaid. So I go to my boss and I say, boss, why is this happening? Why are we getting all these single men? Because Colorado is one of the few states in the country that cover single men with Medicaid. So they knew, like, go do your job down there, come hang out in Colorado. Who doesn't want to ski in Aspen or Keystone over the winter? Yeah, cool, that's good. So they go on Medicaid. And again, those are our tax dollars. So I don't ever want anybody to feel bad about applying for these benefits, because you're working hard when you're working, and we all go through ups and downs. So if you qualify for Medicaid, we want you to have that coverage so that you're going to your doctors, doing your preventatives, not ignoring little signals. Oh, my shoulder hurts a little bit today, I'm not going to do anything about it. Oh, it still hurts a little bit in a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months. That's not a good thing. Go see the doctor, figure out what it is, because if you're not taking care of it, turns into shoulder surgery or something, that's way more expensive. We don't want that to happen to you, and we don't want to have that happen to our neighbors. It's way more expensive, way more trauma. Don't do that. So that's what Medicaid is. It will also pay for premiums, copays, and deductibles in the Medicare world, depending on what your income and assets look like. Okay, SNAP. Sometimes I feel like I'm bragging when I talk about this. So please know this isn't me. This isn't anything I have done. Smart people like Simone, but in our organization, we are a state authorized Medicaid assistance site. We are a state authorized Medicare assistance site. It's called a SHIP office. We are a state authorized Connect for Health assistance site. And we are a state authorized SNAP outreach partner. This one I'm particularly proud of because there's only 4 in the state of Colorado. We're like the little guys. You may have heard of Hunger Free Colorado. I often see, is what I do for a living. So looking around, and there's a brochure, Hunger Free Colorado. If you're hungry, need food, need SNAP, call Hunger Free Colorado. They're the big guys. There's like a 1-800 call Hunger Free, and they'll hook you up with the applications. They're kind of the big guys on the board. There's an organization called BDT out of the East Coast somewhere, and they get data from Colorado that says who's likely eligible for food assistance. They'll send you letters and texts and kind of a mass communication process. And then there's Benefits in Action and Care and Share, which is in Colorado Springs, and they're kind of a super food bank in Colorado Springs. They serve all the pantries, so people come to them who are hungry picking up food. And then there's us, and we wrap around. If you're talking to us about Medicaid or Medicare or any of our other services, we're going to ask you if you have enough food in the house, do you need help buying food, that kind of stuff. So there's a telephone on this picture, because one of the cool things about being one of those 4 SNAP outreach partners is that we can do these applications on the phone. So Brian, I forget all the names, but if Brian had a wild hair and something happened and Brian needed to attach to SNAP benefits, he could call us. We could do that application over the phone. We can also do Medicaid applications over the phone. Almost all of our work these days, after March of 2020 has been remote. Sometimes we're going to ask you to bring documents in or email or mail them to us, but most of our work is being done remotely. And we're one of only 4 partners in the state of Colorado right now that can do those SNAP applications on the phone. Not even the counties have this capability right now. So I want to take a moment here and talk a little bit about us versus the county. You can do the next one. I want to talk a little bit about us versus the county. Said 64 counties in the state of Colorado, each kind of managing their own human services department. They are the eligibility specialists. They're the ones that are actually going to get the application, go through your income and your assets or whatever is applicable for the benefit that you're applying for, and make the determination about if you're eligible or not, and send you the letter and tell you that, and then make the follow-up, whether that's a card for Medicaid or SNAP, whatever that looks like. That's true in the Medicaid and SNAP world, right? Connect for Health, the computer is going to do it. It's going to tell you what your premiums, copays, and deductibles are, which is the marketplace. Same for Medicare, right? Medicare is going to give you what your options are for plans. But in the Medicaid and SNAP world, the county are the eligibility specialists. That's not us. We're not making that determination, which is really nice because you tell us all the truth. We put it all on a piece of paper. We're not the ones making that determination. We're sending that information off to a county to make sure that the counties have the data that they need to make those decisions. So important that you understand all of the kinds of work that we do and what it looks like. I'm going to talk a little bit about a seminar we ran on August 24th, because this was really fun. In that beacon line of work that I said, we work with employers and we have the ability to help employees understand their health insurance. One of the things you may know over our COVID period is most of us have not gone to our primary care physician. We haven't gotten our mammograms. We haven't gotten all those other fun things. No pneumonia shots, no flu shots, all of that stuff has been on the back burner for the last 18 months or so. So as we figure out how to live the next couple of years, wherever COVID goes, it's really important that we start to get back to some of that stuff so we don't end up with few COVID patients and lots of pneumonia patients. That would not be a good trade-off. Or few COVID patients, lots of regular flu patients in our hospitals or worse. So we had this great speaker from Merck, which is a great pharmaceutical company, one of our partners in the Beacon program. And she, who's a pediatrician by trade, shared the best practices from across the country. Like if the provost, whatever the chairman of Arapahoe Community College, provost, if the provost like had a picture on the news, in the news or newsletter and all that kind of stuff, look, I got my COVID shot, then employees and students might be, okay, I'll go get mine, right? Or if the provost was handing out coffee cakes the morning of a vaccine clinic, okay, I want to go hang with that person, see who that is, what they're about, I'll go get my COVID shot. So it was a conversation about how employers and we as community members can help encourage our buddies to not just do the COVID vaccines, but also go get your pneumococcal shot, go get your, whatever all that looks like, go get your pap smears or your mammograms, all of that, go start to do that again. So we're on a path to stay healthy as we come out of this COVID crisis. So that was fun. It was a great thing. And we do those community collaborations. We love Miss Jamie. She's right at the top of the list. Woohoo! We have partnerships with lots of different organizations, from community colleges to organizations that manage health connections, to Medicare, Medicaid members, to mental health organizations, to food coalitions. We believe it's important to be good community stewards and work in the community. We're not trying to recreate the wheel. We don't want to do something that somebody else is doing. As I said earlier, we want to find the gaps. Okay, I'm going to talk a minute about social determinants of health. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. My mom was a single mom. You may have noticed I'm a little bossy, so you could probably guess I'm the oldest of 4 children. I know that comes as a huge surprise to you guys. And if you look at social determinants of health, single mom, 4 kids, divorced early, one would look and say, the social and economic factors that I grew up in would indicate in the world that my probability of high success, not all that great. Go to college, get a good education, you could change that. So good job being in Jamie's program. But your health behaviors, that other like walking across Santa Fe and not paying attention to the lights, the way I giving out cupcakes, not a good idea, but they're good, so you get them. So your health behaviors, going to the doctor or not, the physical environment that you live in, who knows, we had a couple of really smoggy, foggy days in Colorado this year, fires all over the place, so that physical environment you live in, and genetics. So these are some of the things that we talk about in this field around what are some of the outside factors that can affect what your health is going to be going forward. Next one. However, free will, we do still live in America. You do still get to your own choices. You can do amazing programs like Miss Jamie's and the Career Forward program, and you can butt up against those social determinants of health. And you too can be crazy enough to give out crumb cakes and coffee cakes, can come do my job. But the part I like about that is you have your free will, you have free choice, and you can help people. And this is kind of a measure of that level of help. So this is near and dear to my heart. If we had a client and they were, let's say, over 65, and they had access to all of the benefits that you could possibly think of that they might be able to connect to on an annual basis, that would be worth about $18,000 in that household. Quick math, that's about $1,500 a month. Many of the people we work with on a day-to-day basis, their Social Security retirement is not $1,500 a month. So doing this work, you can make a significant impact on a person's life in a really positive, good way, because you can connect them to benefits that significantly improve the quality of their life and what they're able to do. So good work, good work, good work. And we take volunteers. So if you're bored on a Saturday and you want to spend 2 hours or 3 hours with us, you can drive to 8 households. We'll give you a list and you can drop off food to the most deserving, pleasant, grateful people you've ever met in your life. Imagine you're like driving up over here on Prince Street and there's a little Victorian house and there's a lady who's 75 years old walking out in the walker. We try and make them contactless. So she's going to back up. You're going to put it on her front porch. She's going to have somebody come move it into her house because we don't want you in their house. But you're going to get the biggest smile, 6 feet away, socially distanced. She's going to tell you the most amazing things about you because she just ran out of food and she was literally down to her last potato. And if you didn't deliver these boxes of food, she didn't know what she was going to do the next 2 weeks because her food stamps didn't come through. Okay, sign me up. So that's the kind of good work that we do. If that's not your thing, you can pack those boxes. You can actually be a navigator with us. You can make some of those connectedness calls. You can do data entry. You can do some marketing stuff. All kinds of things that we do, we're looking for volunteers for all the time. I do want to take a minute on this slide and actually come back to, I said before, we have a grant from Workforce Development that allows us to work with COVID impacted folks. Need to make sure we don't mess up your rules for the program, but we do have a grant from Workforce Development that allows us to give jobs to folks who have been COVID related for short periods of time. And some of them we've hired. I can think of 3 folks right now, I think, who came through our Workforce Development program over the last year who are now full-time employees with us. So great opportunity if you're interested in internships, volunteering, full-time jobs. Please work with Jamie. She'll work with Simone and we'll figure out a process. So I wanted to make sure we said that.
To join Career Forward, they do have to have a COVID impact related to job loss or income loss. So almost everyone, if you're interested, you do qualify. So this would be a great resource to just kind of make some money on the side if you wanted.
100%. We would love it. Okay, here's our exercise. We want you guys connected to your best health benefits. So I'm going to just grab a couple pieces of paper. You can do it on the ones that you have if you want to. You don't have to use this one. We're not going to collect it. I just wanted to make sure we had paper with us.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
I was not aware of the activity.
Yeah, no, it was a surprise. So I brought everything we needed. Okay.
So we're going to move into our activity now. I'm sure you heard that as well. Grab your pen and paper. Laura's going to go over that with us.
Okay. So here's what I want. Whether this is appropriate for you or somebody else, I often do these presentations to rooms that are way older than you guys. And I say to the grandparents that are in the room, look, your children are not learning this stuff in school. I promise you, there's no class called Financial Wealth 101 or How to Retire Well 202. You're lucky to be at Arapahoe College, where a community college, where there's actually a class that says, how do you get a job? because that doesn't exist in our high schools, right? So good job, Arapahoe Community College, for putting this program together. But our kids don't know this. Many of us don't know this. So we're going to walk through a little exercise, and I want you to think about your gross monthly income right now. So many of you, it might be zero. We're not working, we're just going to college, it might be zero. But I want you to write down, nobody's going to see it, we're not going to look at it. What is your gross monthly income? How much money is going to come into your household if you're married, if you have a spouse, like your tax household? So whoever is on your tax stuff, or if you're claimed by somebody else, what's that look like? What is your gross monthly income going to be in the month of September? Okay, and then I want you to write how many people are in your household. So if it's you, the number's 1. If it's you and a spouse or a significant other, again, taxes done together. 2, have kiddos, grandkiddos, whatever that looks like, whoever's dependents on your taxes, I want you to write that number down.
Not our fur babies.
Not fur babies. Not yet, although mine is pretty darn expensive.
Pretty expensive.
Pretty darn expensive. So I have health insurance for my fur baby. Whole different subject. And similar, right? How many people are in your household? That's the number. And what's your monthly income going to be in the month of September? This comes from Health First Colorado, which is the name of our Medicaid program. That's where I pulled the chart. If you are 19 to 64 and your number on your chart is below $1,428, roughly, slightly above, I would tell you to call us also. You may very likely qualify for Medicaid as your health insurance. If you currently have a Connect for Health plan and you're paying a monthly premium, you might want to call our navigators. We'll walk you through the process. You guys are all smart, so it might be that we like stick you on the peak system by yourself. But if your income that you just wrote down is below $1,400.28 or $1,428, there you go, Laura. Here's a number for kids. Here's the number for pregnant women. I don't see any pregnant women in here, so we'll skip that. If you're a family of 4, so if you wrote down 4 and your monthly income in the month of September is going to be below $2,938, you may qualify for Medicaid. In Colorado, as I said before, we have some pretty generous Medicaid benefits. That's kind of the golden ticket. You go on Medicaid, you have to find a provider. That's not always the easiest thing, but once you find a provider, it pays for almost everything. Maybe $3 for a medication might have to come out of your pocket. There's $1,000 of dental benefits. Medicaid coverage in the state of Colorado is pretty darn good. Whose money is this? Ours. These are our tax dollars that are supporting this program. So I don't ever want anybody to feel bad about doing that. Okay, next one. So if your income is higher, if your numbers are higher than that, this comes from the Connect for Health website, Connect for Health CO. You can go on that site and within 5 minutes get a rough idea of what your monthly premium would be, what your total out-of-pockets deductibles would be. I ran a family of 4, annual income 44,000. This one's a little tougher because it's annual income of 44,000. So 2 adults, 2 kids, zip code 80123. So right down here, close to Arapahoe County Community College. You click on the financial health button, you click on estimate your savings, the next one. And for that group, I found 81 different plans that ranged from a 0 monthly cost to you might end up paying $815 if you had some health issues. Again, family of 4. And then the most expensive one was something like $600-700 a month that you ended up paying $8,000 for. But if you had some health issues that you knew you needed to cover, that might be the best plan. So I wanted you to know that in the world, the other thing is I clicked the button that said had unemployment, right? So we have some new rules around this program based on COVID. And if you've been on unemployment, the tax credits that you get that make your monthly payment low have significantly increased. So 0 monthly premium for a Connect for Health plan. This was a Bright Health plan. With the most they anticipated that you might spend over the course of the year, $815. So I don't know if this is appropriate for you or somebody else in your life, but I promise you the people in your life don't know what you have just learned today. They just don't. Next one.
I put all these links also in the chat and I'll share them with an email after.
Thank you so much. And I can send you a copy of this
Beautiful.
if you'd like. All right. So the question I want you to leave with is, what do you think individuals in the community need the most help with? We're happy to have that conversation with you. I want to empower you guys to have these conversations in your community because we have now transferred our knowledge to you and you guys have become co-partners with us in keeping our community safe and healthy. Think we're done. Is there a link for job opportunities that Laura mentioned above, jobs we can apply for due to COVID, since we are eligible? I can certainly ask Simone to send you some of the job links that are on our site. And
Jamie just posted it.
go, Jamie.
I am a chat.
Yay,
person.
we love Miss Jamie. Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay.
I didn't see any other questions. Seneca is very interested in the volunteering opportunity. So I sent her the link for that. Everyone could hear you really, really well, Laura, so that was great. Seneca shared that she had an apple as her treat, and then Kelsey has her coffee as well. So everyone was comfortable and treated well.
All right. We love Miss Jamie. Big round of applause for Miss Jamie for putting all this stuff together. Thank you, thank you, thank you for having us. We'd be pleased to come back and talk anytime.
Awesome.
Any questions here? Thank you for hanging out with us.
The only question I have is, tell us about your role and what you
Oh,
enjoy about your role.
Yep, I forgot that part. You want to start?
Sure. So my role, like Laura mentioned a little earlier, I supervise all of our navigators. So I do a lot of the training and running the numbers and reporting to grants and all that fun, exciting stuff. I think what makes this job worth it is just hearing all the gratefulness from everyone that we help out. I mean, these benefits are really life or death for them at some point. So when you're able to just get them approved and change their life like that and see how thankful they are, that's really what makes it worth it for me.
Love that
Good
answer.
to hear. Love that answer.
Yeah, love that answer. So I've been with Benefits in Action almost since the beginning. They were about a 6-month-old organization. They spent a year planning, but a 6-month-old organization. So I've done a little bit of everything. Except cleaning the toilets. I don't think I've done that yet. That'll happen, I promise. Currently, I'm our director of programs, so I get to do this a lot. I get to work with organizations and figure out how we can partner together, whether it's a housing facility and we're trying to make sure all the people that live there have access to the benefits, or an employer and trying to make sure that all of their employees are as healthy and connected to the right benefits as they can. So I kind of have that view of it. I do a little bit of direct services. I run our dental grant program. We have a small dental grant for folks, older adults that are 60 and over that don't have other health insurance. I run our tax program, which helps do taxes for low-income folks. That'll start up in January. And like Simone, I love it when people's eyes light up and you have made an immense difference in their world from what you do for a living. So that's what I love about my job and the people I work with, because we're a pretty fun group. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, oh, and I love that.
Yeah. What do you love about your job, Miss Jamie?
So very similar. So I do a lot of the grant work. That's what Career Forward is it's a program that's grant funded from ACC Foundation, COSI, which is our Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative, as well as Colorado Department of Higher Ed. So with those 3 entities watching me, I am doing a lot of our reporting regarding the success stories and the help that we're doing through Career Forward. I really enjoy the direct work. I enjoy the workshop pieces. Running into Abby on Wednesday nights is a highlight of my week usually. And so I really just enjoy that piece, as well as being able to see those aha moments, seeing those individuals come in with hardship and leave with success. It's just a big piece of this work, and I love that.
This
Awesome.
is like Seneca has a question.
Okay. Who's looking at the chat? Seneca has a question.
Sorry,
wants
I
to
just
ask
wanted to come
someone.
on mic and ask this question.
Go for it.
So just to understand, so you mentioned the work opportunities and the volunteer opportunities. Because we're in Career Forward program, we would just go to that link that was posted in the chat and we would just look at the different work opportunities, or am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there's an email, it should be info@benefitsinaction.org. If you
Yeah.
can't get what you need from the website, email info@benefitsinaction.org. Let us know what you're interested in, and the right person will get back to you.
I also put my email in the chat, so if you want to just contact me directly as well, feel free to do that.
Okay, and are these opportunities remote or is it just in person?
Most of our work these days is remote, Seneca.
Okay, cool. Because I live in Fountain, so I just wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we have volunteers from California to Boston.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Okay, thank you.
And staff members from Tennessee, well, she's in Florida, from Florida to Oklahoma,
Tennessee, yeah.
somewhere down there, Tennessee or Florida. Tennessee, I think you're right.
Awesome.
Tennessee, Oklahoma. Yeah, so we've got employees all over, which wasn't true in March of 2020, but COVID has taught us all how to figure out how to do that, so.
I
So
love
Fountain's not
that.
that far.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that COVID has brought these really cool moments where we get to pivot. We become hybrid, high flex, and able to have, you know, real good talent just in different spaces.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anything else, ladies and gents?
I have a thank you for your time. This was very informative.
Thank you.
Brian
Thank
thanked us for your presentation and time as well earlier, and so did Seneca. We're good to go if you guys are.
Thank
good.
you very much. Can we email that from there to you?
Absolutely, yeah, I'm going to stop the recording because I'll save that for individuals who are watching that. And then, yeah,